Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
A very interesting request we have here today, ladies and gentlemen. I even probably put this on the blog because I don't have time to write anymore. I have all these posts I want to write, but Asshole Consulting is kicking my ass. Hey Aaron, there are certainly a lot of things going on in the world today that make people who are child-free say, thank God we don't have kids. Whenever I get depressed about the state of the world, one thing I say to myself that makes me feel a lot better is, thank God I don't have any kids. How much peace does it give you personally knowing that you don't have to worry about the kids you never had growing up in this decaying world? And there are definitely times where we say to ourselves, thank God we don't have white kids, as the left has turned up the heat on white people big time. That is absolutely 100% true. I know that's politically incorrect to say so, but it is true. You are brainwashing kids to have an anti-white and an anti-male. I don't think it's white males. It is anti-white. That includes you ladies. And is anti-male. That includes you black and Hispanic and Asian gentlemen as well, I might add. They are indoctrinating and pre-installing a bias and hatred against different people of different plumbing and different skin color. I can't help but wonder if at least a small percentage of the people who have kids these days realize what kind of a world they're putting their kids into. Your thoughts? I think the vast majority of people do not. No. The vast majority of people don't look at economics. The vast majority of people don't know the difference between a million and a trillion, let alone percent of GDP. Most people in the United States and the Western world today are the effete, elite, spoiled brats sitting on top of the deck of the Titanic, having scotches and whatever else they served back then. And then there's a handful of us down in the bowels of the Titanic, or watching that iceberg just cut it across, and we're trying to shut down and whatever, and we're called racists or bigots or homophobes or party poopers or whatever. We're like, hey, there's some serious structural issues that most people are that is true. So you can't help but with there's a small percentage that realize that is true, because there's 320 million Americans. Got to be some that maybe realize it. I would also say there's a nervous Nelly. I knew this one guy. Oh God. And what the only good thing to say about this guy is that he has gotten the life he completely deserves. An engineer, married some liberal arts majoring spoiled brat, and she's all into organic this and that. She totally took him for his money. Just the putz, just the leftist putz. And we were debating about why he shouldn't. I was saying you shouldn't pay more taxes. No, I don't mind paying taxes. And the reason why was Danegeld. Danegeld, if you don't know what that was, that's what you paid the Vikings not to raid and rape and pillage your village. It was basically bribe money. Don't bribe, tribute. And surprise, surprise, the Vikings came back. And he basically said, well, I don't mind paying more in taxes because it essentially bribes the lower classes from rioting and assaulting and killing and rising up. I'm like, well, how about you pay for cops and you teach them self-reliance and independence and have a hard-line fatherly aspect to them instead of this pussy roll over your back and feed them cake to quell the masses and placate them temporarily. He knew, in other words, the fact he knew that he was basically bribing the big ripped minority kids or the poor people or the rioters from hurting his prestige, and they lived in this fat liberal, oh my God, you're just the epitome of leftist spoiled brats. Oh my God. So, but married a white gal, had white children, and they have to send their kids to diversity schools. And the reason I say that a small percentage, even those on the left who are true believers, deep down inside I think they do know. Because how can you not see it? Every day they're told they have privilege. I know not a lot, but some liberal parents are like, we have to send our kids to diversity so they understand how privileged they are. They love their religion more than they do their kids. But deep down inside, the fact that he knew that you either face them or bribe them, you be a man, or you'd be a coward. He went the cowardly way. He knew there was that threat. So I guarantee he is acutely aware in the deepest bowels of his soul, as are there many other liberal, effete, perfectly goody two-shoe white people who had white kids that are aware of that. But they will never admit it because, again, their loyalty to their religion and their ego is more than their love for their children. But taking the racial or the sexual component, because we could talk white, but also heaven help you if you have a male child. I mean, look at what the Kavanaugh, Lacey Ford deal was all about. But getting back to the general point of having kids, absolutely. Absolutely. I look at my friends who are not liberals, who have children, white or not, male or not. And a lot of them, they're just following their genetic code. Like, yeah, I always want to have kids. I know one guy who wants to have like 5 kids because he just loves children. And he does make a great father, a great mother. And all the more power to you. But as an economist, one of the problems is you look at I was a sovereign risk analyst. I looked at the viability of countries, and I look at them, no. And so on a moral principle, no, I'm not going to bring a kid into this world. There's no way I'd bring a kid into this world. You're nuts. You don't love your children if you're bringing kids into this world. You love your children, but you're not thinking ahead. And if you are bringing your kids into this world, you better have a good solid plan B, like overseas investments. And so I could be very flippant and indifferent about the collapse of the world. John Steele and Sturzinger, tune into the Older Brother podcast. We talk about this a couple times. Where it's like, thank God we don't have kids. A lot of my friends don't have. Thank God we don't have kids. And whereas there is that genetic desire, most people do want to have kids. I understand that's almost the only thing really to do if you don't believe in an afterlife. The only thing to do is have kids. That's really ultimately the only thing to raise them correctly. Unlike just having them and spitting them out and let the government raise them. I can be doubly flippant about it because I have no instinctual desire. I actually have a repulsion to the idea of having kids, whether or not there was a future in the United States or Western civilization or not. And the reason why is the way I was brought up, and especially college, where basically went without food. You if you could barely support yourself, which I think is an increasing number of men and women today, especially millennials, especially Gen Zers with this $100,000 debt you got to pay for your student loans, and maybe you literally, you're just happy to come out of that alive. You're just happy to pay off your debts before you're 35. But by that time, women's fertility has gone down the hole. Most of you are dysfunctionally ill-raised and ill-reared, both by parents and the state, to not be functional nuclear family parents. But I think a lot of people, because of that background, I believe in epigenetics, that your genetics have changed. They're like, you know what? I just say to this myself almost daily, like, thank God I got good food. I'm happy to just have good food. I'm really happy to have. I'm happy that my house is paid off. I'm happy I have no debts. And my goal is not reproduction or settling down and start a family. Smoke my pipe. Look at me. I'm just happy to be alive. And what time I am on this planet, a significant percentage of it will be spent enjoying my life. A lot of people say, well, you don't have children, you don't know what true joy is, and you don't understand what I'm saying. My genes have changed, my genetics have changed, epigenetics, again, if you want to, that the idea of having a child is not there. It is repulsing me. Like, it's like, oh, if I had a child, what if it was the most beautiful, wonderful woman, and it was your child? No! And then I look at other people's kids, and I'm like, fuck, if my kid would be with yours! Not even in school, I mean, like, I look at, and these are the good people, these are the working people, and they're not raising their kids. That's what the problem is. Don't believe in spanking, we don't do that! If I have to hear that word one more time, we don't do that. That's how social justice warriors are created. Everyone, my colleague, or whatever you want to call him, he's worried about the big bad black inner city kids coming and taking away his money. So, well, here's some money, here's some Dane Geld. Fuck the minority kids, fuck the inner city youth. How about the prissy little white suburbanite assholes, these spoiled brats you bring up to become fucking Marxists? Holy shit, give me a kid with a criminal record. At least he knows how to deal drugs and lives in the real world a little bit. Don't give me some effete liberal cocksucking piece of shit that plays... I don't know, what do little kids play nowadays that doesn't require... Is lacrosse a thing? Is that a real sport? I don't know. Tennis. Ha! So yes, it is a huge relief for me. And what I and many other men, and some women say, the lights just have to be kept on another 35 years. 35 years, I'm gone. I don't care what happens. And this is written in Enjoy the Decline. It's a very good book. For those of you that don't have faith in the future and you're pissed off, you can't let the fact that there is a declining future ruin your life. You're only here this one time. You need to capitalize and be happy. And Des Prager has a book, Why Happiness is a Requirement or something like that. But I also say you must enjoy the decline. You have to enjoy your life. And for many of you, which I think is the case for an increasing number of people, especially if you happen to be from a minority family in the ghetto in Section 8. Heck, I talked to a client not too long ago where you come from this shithole. You come from these lies. You come from this truly disadvantaged background, and you are lied to about what you got, and then you go through, and then by the age of 30 you don't realize how much you've been lied to. Now you're sitting with a ton of debt and a worthless degree. Your youth is gone. You need to capitalize it and have some fun in life. And so it's almost like you have to put yourself a little bit forward. First say, you know what, I want to have a childhood. I want to eat chocolate ice cream. I want to go and play. I want to go visit the national parks. I want to play and be happy for once. I want my honeymoon. I don't want to immediately go into having kids, especially when you can barely afford it. You can't even support yourself. And so that relieves a huge burden, financially, psychologically, emotionally, mentally, and it makes it a lot easier. And then when you say, well, I don't have any future, I don't have any kids, I'm not going to, I got nieces I care about, I have younger people I care about, and what's funny, God, it gets even worse. You'd think it couldn't get any more cynical. Even the kids that you knew and you saw them grow up, and it's not that they turn on you, they just don't care. They turn into teenagers, they get emo-y, they don't have hustle, and you look and you realize just what a percentage of people of all races and genders just have zero fucks given in the future and are not going to have the hustle. They're not going to put forth the effort and energy. It's really hard to care about what kids you do care about because they don't even care about themselves. And if we were, it's the old bad times create good men create good times create weak men create bad times. It's good to be in the bad times when you're young because then there's a future for you. You struggle, you strive, you're on the same team. You're working towards a goal. Let's get out of the bad times. Let's bring the good times back. But when you start in good times, the most important thing in life, the people are spoiled, weak, inferior, dumb, brainwashed, sheeple fucks. Boring people that you just can't get interested in. You cannot get it. And that, my God, happiest I was, albeit it was under false pretenses because I thought there was a future, was when I was in college. It was miserable. It scarred me. I didn't have food. It was patrol. Oh my God, just horrible conditions. No sleep. Just miserable. Physically miserable. But hanging out with these people who were kind of in the same situation. We were a team. We were the best. And we were struggling and striving towards freedom. We'd get our degree because we were told that once we got our degree, we'd get a good paying job. Because that's what the baby boomers done then. And there was hope. You're working towards something. We're going to be free. And that was happiness. That was struggle. That was agency. That was purpose. That was goal. That was a mission in life. Then you accomplished your mission. You're like, what? Huh? They lied to us? Fucking son of a bitch. So, anyway, yes, it is Thank God I don't have kids. Thank God. Never really wanted them. I feel bad for the people who have the intelligence and had maybe, they didn't have it genetically kicked out of them, their desire to have kids, because that's all they want. I feel bad that they genetically want to have kids, they like to have kids, but they consciously know they can't because the future is not going to be good for their children. They love their theoretical would-be children enough not to have them. I feel bad for them. I am very thankful I don't have kids. I am even more thankful I have no genetic desire to have. I knew that as a senior in high school. This one girl I was dating, she's like, "Do I want to have 4 kids?" Like, no, no. So I'm even more thankful I don't have that kid. And the true revenge you get on leftists is if they breed. That is the true revenge you get on leftists, because they are bringing their the second most important thing in their life, their children. Because the number one thing a leftist has in their life is their politics. That's the number one thing. But the number two thing, the second most important thing in their life, their children, are going to suffer because of their parents' naivete and stupidity and cowardice. Because their parents did not hold lines. Their parents did not say, "No, we're not having more immigrants come in. No, we're going to start paying down the debt. No, we're going to require people work." Nope. Their children are going to suffer. Their children are definitely going to suffer. How you villainize the 50s when you have unemployment of 3% and GDP growth of 4.5% and zero debt, or decreasing debt, I should say. And then, nope, this is better. We're going to have 120% debt to GDP and labor force participation rates under 50%. And this is, oh my God, diversities and touchy wonderfuls. Their kids will pay the price. So there is a poetic justice, and that is a revenge I truly love and enjoy. The comeuppance, the "I told you so-ness," where the second most valuable thing in a leftist life, their children, will be ruined. And then the liberals themselves, we're talking those who are married with children, but then another one along the same vein are your feminists who don't need no man, fish, bicycle, and they worship and bow down at the altar of feminism. They will never know love. They will never know children. They will never know family. They will never know husband. They won't know any of that. All they will know is a government check from the state. That is their groom, is the state. And the government, no matter how much money it throws at you, does not hug you back. And it is a joy, especially now watching women my age, just to have them become train wrecks, slow motion train wreck. It's very enjoyable. Just sip your coffee. You just like, yeah, feminism at the age of 48. That looks interesting. So I would, again, enjoy the decline. Enjoy that misery. Be happy you don't have kids. Have a bit of honor and pat yourself on the back that you actually love your kids more than most people today because you took the time to think about it. And if you do have kids, pat yourself on the back if you're got a plan B, like, "Hey kid, maybe we're going to buy some property over in the Philippines. Hey, maybe you ought to be an engineer. Hey, maybe you ought to do this. Maybe you ought to do that." But that's not the vast majority of people, even conservatives. How many conservative fathers send their daughters and sons off to liberal arts majoring colleges? "Well, I can't tell my daughter. She's an independent girl. You have to make her own choice." "Huh? Okay, I'll cut another check. Daddy just loves you." Next day, "I am against worthless degrees. My God, the craziness going on at the liberal arts." "Yes, you go to St. Catherine's, dear. You go, yes, go. I don't care what you meant. I love you. I love you so much. I love you so much. I won't tell you things that you need to hear because that would be real love, because that would take effort and fatherly discipline. But I just want the touchy-feely part of parenting, not the harsh realities." So yes, absolutely. Thank God you don't have kids. Be very thankful you don't have kids. And enjoy some good food. Be thankful we have the world's reserve currency right now, because a lot of us old farts might actually see a Social Security check. It's a pretty good time to be alive. Anyway, get the book Enjoy the Decline. If you don't understand, if you think I'm evil and I'm vile, why don't you get that book and read it? And if you are unhappy about the future direction of the country, why don't you get that book and read it? Because there's no reason for you to be unhappy. Take all the unhappiness, all the news, all the Drudge Report, all that other stuff that Fox News told you. Okay, how happy did that make you? Probably pissed you off. Are you angry? Yes, you are. Did you lose life expectancy because of added stress? Yes, you did. Read my book, Enjoy the Decline. See if that isn't a life changer. See if that won't make you happy for the remaining third of your life. All right, that's it. Things, stuff, links below, toodles.